it's Penny. I'm here in the studio and I want to give you a little lesson on how to use the KISS method to join binding strips. The first thing I want to point out to you though is an easier way to do your diagonal seams. Let me switch the camera around and we'll show you some tips. When joining binding strips, offset your strips by just a skinch. I mean, a thread or two at the most. And as you can see, it gives you this little point here that you can see, and also down at this end, this little point here. So you can almost visualize where the line is going to go between those 2 points. So if you can visualize that by offsetting the diagonal strips, it'll make joining your strips a lot faster. Okay, so here I have my little quilt that I put my binding on. And as you can see, it's my quick and easy binding from last month that we instructed you about. So I have to join these 2 strips so that it looks like a seamless binding going all the way around. You want to put your binding on so that you have at least 6 inches of binding tail left and at least a 6-inch opening. So you have to stop attaching your binding to leave yourself a good size opening. The first thing you do is you're going to take your left hand strip and you're going to fold it back on itself somewhere in the center of your opening. So about in the center of your opening. So fold that one back and finger press it. And then bring the right hand strip and come over and make the 2 strips kiss. You want your folds to kiss. You do not want them to overlap, and you do not want a gap in between. You want them to be nice and friendly, okay? So you're going to take the left hand strip and you're gonna cut it on the fold. So where you folded it, you're gonna cut that tail off like so. Take the piece you cut off, open it up, and you're gonna slide that into where you folded the other side, like so, and lay it flat again. And you wanna cut this piece right along the edge of that piece of fabric. Make sure you're only cutting the top part. You do not want to cut through the bottom. You will not have enough binding left. So we're going to cut that even with the fabric. Okay? Now we can discard the fabric we cut away. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand tail, you're going to open it, and when you open it, the wrong side of the fabric is facing me. I want to twist it away from myself until the right side is facing me again. And then I'm going to just open the left-hand side, lay it on top, and do my diagonal seam. Can you stop it? All right, so you see I've sewn my diagonal seam. So now I'm going to cut off the point, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance, like so. And normally I would take this to my ironing board and I would press this seam open. But right now I'm just going to finger press it so that we can continue with our demonstration. So now I would fold this back down over. And as you can see, now my strip will fit exactly in the rest of my quilt. So I would continue to sew this and I would have continuous binding. Another thing you want to watch for when you're doing the quick and easy 2-color, when you join your diagonal strip, you want to make sure that your needle hits right at where the 2 seams of the contrast and the binding come together so that that looks continuous and it's not jagged. So all I would do now is continue to sew this down, and then I would flip this over to the other side, wrap my binding around, and top stitch right between, let me get my pencil, top stitch right between where the binding is and where the contrast is, using a thread that will blend with the contrast. And that's it, using the KISS method to join your binding, and easy peasy 2-color binding.